Alpha Sessions.
Hello everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the Alpha Sessions. I've got Lea G in the studio today. How are you?
Hi, yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of exciting things to talk about with you because, I mean, you've released like 3 singles this year, one very recently on the 8th.
Yeah,
October,
exactly,
right? Crazy.
on the 8th, yeah.
You've got headline shows coming up, all sorts of things. And we're going to talk about the latest single later on when you play that for us in the studio. But first of all, I want to talk about your first song that you played for us, Mid-Youth Crisis.
Yes.
Just tell us a bit about it. Where did it come up? How did it begin?
Oh gosh, it began quite a long time ago. Like those 3 songs and like the CP I'm releasing is actually a long time in the making. Because I wrote most of the songs like 3 years ago, and Mid-Youth Crisis I wrote around the time where I was about to graduate, and I could see like all my friends and like classmates really struggling to know what they wanted to do with their lives. And I kind of always knew that I wanted to do music from like 16 onwards. I was like, yeah, that's just going to be what I'll do for a while anyway. And then I was like, you know what? And then also so many people talked about midlife crisis and stuff. And I was like, actually, you know what? Being young is actually maybe harder than being in your midlife crisis because you have not lived at all yet and you don't know who you're going to be or where you're going to end up or, you know, what you're going to do. So, yeah, that's basically what Mid-Youth Crisis is about, that uncertainty of not knowing what's next, basically, and just trying to find yourself in the world.
Yeah, it's a weird time, actually, graduating, because I just graduated this year as well. Especially in music, did you study music? Is that what you
No, I did not. That was just for my A-levels back in Austria. So, I just did normal A-levels, basically. And everyone after went, to uni and stuff.
I wanted to ask you about your upbringing as well, because I read that you're from Austria.
Yeah.
And musically, I have no idea what the Austrian background is. So do you think that's influenced your music quite a lot?
Gosh, no, I don't think so. Austria's full of classical music and jazz. I grew up listening to classical music only. I was such a geeky weird child. It was terrible. Until I was 12 years old, I was not interested in pop music whatsoever at all. All my mates were like, oh, Katy Perry, whatever. I was like, yeah, no, Mozart actually, thanks. It's really weird. So yeah, I kind of grew up listening to classical music, singing classically. I was classically trained. I played violin for a bit. And stuff like that. And then when violin got too hard, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to play guitar. But yeah, it's a weird one because my parents, my dad doesn't listen to music that much. He would hate me saying this, but he doesn't really. And my mum, I don't know, listened to lots of different stuff growing up. But I don't know, I remember Barbara Streisand and my mum used to play a lot of Adele and Nirvana, a weird mix of lots of different stuff, but nothing ever popped out to me until I heard Ed Sheeran, and I didn't find Ed Sheeran until I went to see The Hobbit in the cinema, and
really?
I saw
I
it
See Fire.
yeah, exactly. I See Fire in the soundtrack, and I was like, oh my god, this song is great, and that was the first pop song that I was ever oh my god, this is great. So then I found Ed Sheeran, and then I found lots of different other singer-songwriters, and then I was like, you know what, if Ed can do that, I can do that, right?
And that's kind of your gateway.
Exactly, and that's when I started writing myself as well.
I see, nice.
Yeah.
But it's a nice mix to start with classical and have a family that's really into music as well, and in a classical background. I find that it makes writing really different when you've studied
definitely.
Instruments differently, even subconsciously if you don't realise it, and you play instruments, you think about music in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your writing style like? So I mean, you've got very catchy songs, earworms,
Thanks.
As we will hear later. But even Mid-Youth Crisis, I can hear it now going around in my head. So did you write this in the lockdown?
I did not, because
This was before.
obviously that was I must have written it beginning of 2019, end of 2018, quite a long time ago. Yeah, I did not write it in lockdown.
And where were these recorded?
These were recorded during lockdown / after lockdown, between lockdowns and stuff. My songs were produced by Duncan Brookfield. He's a really cool upcoming pop producer. You should check him out if you don't know him. He's really cool. He's also got his own stuff out, which is really cool. But yeah, I found him on Instagram. I used to work with lots of different producers before I worked with him, and we never quite clicked. I used to work with lots of older guys who did not get what it's like to be a young woman, who did not get what I was into music-wise. So there was actually lots of different recordings of each of the songs that I've released this year that just never made it.
Is that why there was this
world.
big gap between the writing and the release?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I was just trying to figure out who I wanted to actually work with, and I worked with a producer for like a year, and then I just figured that it wasn't the sound that I was going for at all. And then I kind of just, during lockdown, I just got into writing like loads. Like I wrote 300 songs during lockdown with just lots of different people over Zoom, just whatever I could get. And I was like, you know what, let's just concentrate on songwriting for a while until I find someone that I feel comfortable working with. And then with Duncan, it was just, instant connection. Like he just got me.
Nice.
And it's been great working on this record with him.
So through lockdown, you've now got this backlog, I'm imagining, of loads of these earworms that you've got coming up. Does that mean there's exciting projects in the works? Yeah,
there's definitely exciting projects in the works. Although the new EP is actually full of songs that I've written after lockdown. I reckon like most of the songs I wrote during lockdown are actually going to be produced for like pitching and stuff like that. So a lot more to do with that stuff.
And how did you find? So you mentioned virtual work. So you were on Zoom songwriting, and not a lot of people that I've spoken to yet have talked about songwriting virtually. They talk about doing live streams and performing virtually. What was it like songwriting?
I think I quite liked it because before lockdown I used to like hustle around like between lots of different places in London and having like sometimes 2 writing sessions a day, and it's so draining. And actually being on Zoom is quite nice because you can, get onto one meeting, have a 5-minute break, get onto the next one without having to go anywhere. And it was just my way of coping with lockdown. I think I would have been bored to death if I hadn't been writing with someone else every day, So I think I quite liked it. I do get the fact that some people might not like it because it's not as personal and you don't feel that close connection. But also, I've had the pleasure of working with people from Nashville and stuff like that, and it's been incredible. Like, it's just nice to have that connection anyway. Like, I feel like when you really get on, you have that connection whether you're in a room together or not. So it's been quite.
Do you think being able to do things virtually has introduced you to more people around the world? You mentioned Nashville.
Oh, definitely.
Quite casually mentioned Nashville.
Nashville is cool. Like, I write with a guy called Blake Densmore in Nashville, and he's a big Nashville writer. And I wouldn't have met him if I hadn't met my mentor. You kind of introduced me to him, and then Duncan's friends with him too. It's like everyone knows him, but it's quite cool, definitely. But it was obviously much harder to network and stuff during lockdown. But the bits that I did do were quite good, I guess.
I imagine. And did you do live stream gigs as well?
I did a lot of live stream gigs on this new social media app thing called Tango with Hotbox for a while, for like once a week. And then what else did I do? I did lots of Instagram live streams. And then I didn't get into Twitch until like about 2 months ago, which is what all my friends got into during lockdown.
Twitch got really popular.
Some of my friends.
But before this lockdown live stream whole thing erupted, I imagine you were gigging on stage before.
It was insane because I moved to London in 2019 in August, and that was like, I probably had like 6 months before lockdown happened, right? I didn't know it was going to happen. Maybe I would have played even more, but I would play like 2 to 5 gigs a week. I would go to every networking event, every gig, like everything. I was so burnt out by the end of it. When lockdown happened, I was like, oh my God. I was gigging a lot. I basically went to every gig I could get and played every gig I could get, really. Just small pub gigs.
Is this solo? Would you have a band?
I have a band now.
But back then?
I did not. I played solo for years and years and years. And I do still I still enjoy playing solo, but now that I've got my band, it's like a new era. I'm looking forward to, doing that properly.
And speaking of which, you've got a gig coming up.
I have indeed.
And it's also your EP release
party.
It's
also my EP release party, indeed.
So that is in Notting Hill?
Notting Hill Arts Club, yes. It's a really cool venue. And it's on the 11th of November, which I'm really excited for. So if you want tickets to that, go and head to the link in my bio on my Instagram. You can find it there. I'm excited for it. I'm also going to have 2 really cool support acts, Edith and Enid Hunter. They're both really talented and good friends of mine, so it's going to be good to have them on.
Amazing. All-female lineup.
Exactly. You got to push the females in this industry. You really do.
Is that an important thing to you? Being
100%.
A woman in music?
I'm the biggest feminist ever, so I'm really trying to empower women and kind of also show everyone who's in my circle that everyone's got space. Like, no one needs to be afraid of not having space to put their music out, or that kind of the whole what's it called, just like the whole competition between acts, like it doesn't have to be there. Like there's space for everyone. Whatever kind of music you do, there's always going to be a niche where you can be really, really, really successful. If you find your niche, that's the best thing you can do, right? And I think especially during like between female artists and female songwriters and just women in general, there's a lot of competition when there shouldn't be, really. I think, there's space for everyone, as I said, and it's nice to empower each other and just lift each other up and give each other opportunities.
Thinking back to when we were little, no responsibilities, got caught up in the middle of college grades and uni applications, don't know what we'll do, take our high expectations, don't wanna grow up, wanna stay young and free, don't wanna grow up, escape reality, we're stuck in this mid-youth crisis, mid-youth crisis.
The Alpha Sessions.
You're also a supporter of environmentalism.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I saw that you'd performed at a march.
Yeah,
Climate
exactly.
march
Lots
in
of
Vienna.
climate marches. It was
Lots of them.
Crazy, yeah.
Well, tell me about it.
Oh, it's just insane. So I think like probably early 2019 or something, I got into that whole environmentalism stuff, and Fridays for Futures, the organisation that I kind of was part of, and it's a really small movement that started in our town, and I was there kind of as like one of the first people who started it, and I was part of like the organisation team for a while with my sister and stuff like that, and I stopped doing that because it was a lot of work, and other people thankfully took over. But then over the summer I kind of almost toured, sounds stupid, but like I played to like tens of thousands of people in like different marches, like in Vienna and Aachen in Germany. Like there's so many different ones around Austria as well that I played. And specifically for that, I wrote a climate song too, because I was like, oh, we need like a cool anthem that we can all sing, and that's easy enough to remember because all of the other songs are kind of like, I don't know, arrangements of songs that already existed and people wouldn't remember the lyrics or whatever. So it's quite nice to write a song for that and for people to sing it back to me. That was insane. Like,
Yeah,
it was
that's
just
amazing.
one incredible moment in Vienna. It was just like 30,000 people, and I was on this tiny stage with my tiny guitar, and everyone was screaming it back at me. I was like, this is so cool. If this is the peak of my career, I'm fine with that, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that nice energy of like connecting with people. That's why I do music, right? So
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's got to change the way you perform. After doing things like that, would you say that's like the peak of your career so far, having a crowd like that?
yeah, definitely. So I've never performed to more people. It's interesting how it's less scary than performing to like 5 people.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
people say
weird.
that because it's less intimate. I mean, it's
Yeah, you don't see anyone's faces really. It's just
Lights
huge crowd.
in your
You're
eyes,
just
blinding you.
like, yeah, there was no lights either, but it's just like, you know, it's this really crappy like environmentalism, I don't know, march stage like put together out of lots of different stuff. And but yeah, it was that was a moment that was really cool. Yeah, definitely do it again if I get the chance to.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would. I'd love to do something
right?
like that.
It's quite cool.
Are you aiming to go bigger than that though? I mean, what's the point that you'd reach when you think like this is it? I've made it, or was that the point? If you reached that?
No. I aim to go bigger, and like, you know, I only played one song. Even though it was like an honour, because right after me, Greta Thunberg came on stage as well, which was great. But yeah, I think my career goal is to just be like an internationally successful artist. Like I want to go on a world tour. Like I want to have tens of thousands of people screaming my lyrics back at me. I would love that, you know. I just think there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about and that I want to connect with through my music with other people. So yeah, I'm not done yet. Only just getting started.
And I mean, and we've been missing crowds like that since the lockdown, obviously. I know you've spoken a bit about what the process was like for you. But the second song you played for us, Missing Out, so you wrote this before
Yeah,
lockdown,
I wrote
but
it before
weirdly,
lockdown, but weirdly it just
it
fits,
seems
doesn't
to
it?
fit really well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people must relate to that now. But
Yeah,
what was the
probably.
process for that one like when you wrote it? What was it
Gosh.
actually about at the time?
Yeah, so this was actually the only track that I co-wrote on the whole EP. Like all the other 3 songs I wrote just by myself, and that song I wrote with my friend Lorenzo. And I wrote it probably October 2019 or something, when I just moved to London. And I moved to London and I didn't know anyone. Like I knew like a couple people from a songwriting retreat I did the summer before that. But I don't have family here, I didn't have friends. And the only thing I could do to meet friends and make friends and meet new people was to play and write and stuff. And I felt kind of isolated at some point because my friends started sending me pictures of them like going snowboarding back home and, you know, just having fun. And I was like, oh, great. Like, I'm just here in this huge city, like working my fingers to the bone, just like trying to make my music work. But I'm not really having the opportunity to actually be young and, you know, go to uni and get drunk on weekends and, you know, socialise and not have many worries on my mind. So I think that's kind of where it came from, like missing out on youth because you're just working on your dream. But, you know, if I wouldn't be working on this, I would be dead, like really, really unhappy. So, yeah, I guess this is what it's about. It's just about missing out on all the things other people are doing. I have a normal life.
Yeah.
Getting home 3 a.m. after playing a show. There's so many things on my mind. 6 a.m. up again. I'm on that, gotta go. I feel I'm running out of time. I got too many places to go, too many choices to make. Rather be taking it slow, but I'm forced to race. Too many people to see, too many things to do. There's all this pressure on me, and I'm afraid to be missing out on everything. Loves and movies, trips and songs. I'm afraid to be missing out on everything. Parties and games and drinks and jokes. I'm afraid. You chill at your house, watch TV on the couch. You're living with your parents and they want you to stay. All day you are home and at night you are out. Never have to worry how to behave. With me I've got too many places to go, too many choices to make. Rather be taking it slow, but I'm forced to race. Too many people to see, too many things to do. There's all this pressure on me, and I'm afraid to be missing out on everything. Loves and movies, trips and talks. I'm afraid to be missing out on everything. Parties and games and drinks and jokes. I'm afraid to. I'm missing out on everything. Ooh, I'm missing out on everything. Ooh, out on all the things that you do. 'Cause while I'm away, I feel it vividly. Wishing I would share all these moments with you. So while I'm away, are you missing me? Missing out on all the things that you do. 'Cause while I'm away, I feel it vividly. Wishing I would share all these moments with you. Yeah, I'm afraid to, but missing out on everything. Loves and movies, trips and soaps. I'm afraid to, but missing out on everything. Parties and games and drinks and jokes. I'm afraid to, but missing out on everything. Loves and movies, trips and soaps. I'm afraid to, but missing out on everything. Parties and games and drinks and jokes. I'm afraid of missing out.
The Alpha Sessions.
But what's the scene like in Austria? Is it quite different?
It's-
If you were to perform the way you perform here over there, what would the
Yeah.
reaction be?
There isn't much of a scene, especially not the town that I'm from. I'm from Linz, which is kind of 200,000 inhabitants kind of town, quite in the north of Austria, like quite close to the Czech border. And I think the scene in Vienna is a lot better. I used to not play in Vienna much though. I maybe played like 2 gigs there in my lifetime. But yeah, it's very small. Like before I moved here, I used to play a lot at restaurants and pubs like that, just cover gigs really. And that was fun, but there's no real kind of industry for, you know, connecting with people that do what you do. Like I was literally the only person I knew that did songwriting. And I never met anyone who did the same in my town, at least. I knew a few people from Vienna, and there was a few occasions where I met someone, but the industry is tiny. And it's quite hard to stand... It's not hard to stand out, but it's hard to get acknowledged for what you're doing. I think if I wrote German lyrics, I would be a lot better off in Austria, like a lot better off. There's much more of an industry for German pop, jazz and classical music, rather than what I do.
That's interesting. But I mean, even though the industry's smaller, you must have connections that can really help. So if you did want to branch out that way, you're talking about world tours and stuff. I mean, the more places you've been to, and you've done all these climate marches, you must have met so many amazing people that in the future might help you out. And we were talking earlier, actually, it reminded me, about your social media and artist coaching, which I found really interesting.
Sure.
And you must meet a lot of people through that as well, even if they're...
Yeah, I think so. You know, most of the people I work with in terms of my coaching are people that are literally just starting out. Like, they've written songs and they want to put it out, but they don't know how to get there. They don't know how to find a producer. They don't know how to brand or market themselves. They don't know what their story is and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to help them almost find themselves musically and find their persona in music and how to kind of work from that. And then once they found that, I then just help them put the message out there with branding, marketing, stuff like that, social media advice.
That's
I guess.
amazing. It's something we all need. It's something I need. But did this start in the lockdown? Because everybody had a lot of time to put into social media.
Yeah, it happened during lockdown. It's really funny. I think it happened because I didn't even know... Like, I knew that lots of my friends came to me for advice on the industry because I also did a music in business course at the Notting Hill Academy of Music. This was actually the reason why I moved to London. But yeah, it just came to me for advice and everything. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should make this a business because I do need the money. Every musician knows it. And I like to give something back. So... yeah, it started during lockdown. I did a couple sessions for small kind of companies that helped develop young artists, and through that some people got in touch, and then just kind of been building it from there. And it's good to, you know, I get new clients and I lose clients again because I've helped them enough for them to do it themselves, which is the goal of the whole thing. So,
and it must give you a lot of ideas for yourself as well, in a way. Like, your social media skills are pretty strong.
Thank you.
So, I mean, your content, because, I mean, I guess the best thing is to keep producing content. And you're talking about how every week you're producing content for the next week while you're also posting from the last week.
Exactly.
And it's a lot. Like, you're spinning a lot of plates.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot to do, you know. I think I'm getting to that stage now, like, where I would like a manager to take over some of the admin stuff because, yeah, recently Oh, it's just been manic, you know. I've been going to 3-4 gigs a week just to network and see my friends play and stuff like that. And then during the day, I would just be on my emails and be on Photoshop and be on editing videos and stuff like that for 8-9 hours a day. And it's like, it's super draining. And I'm looking forward to getting to a stage where people actually want to jump on board. So if you're a music manager and you're listening to this right now, get in touch, please.
Get in touch with Lea G.
I need to expand the team.
Yeah. Something I really wanted to talk to you about was your influences. Because, I mean, it's very poppy and there's a lot of you. You're talking about Ed Sheeran already.
Yeah.
So would you cite him as your main influence?
I think he was the reason I started writing. Now, sound-wise, I think I'm sat between, I think it's got the singer-songwriter influence, which I think you could relate to Ed Sheeran. But I think it's got like many people have compared me to Sigrid and Florence and the Machine.
I wrote Sigrid down. I was listening to it there, and I made a note of Sigrid.
Yeah.
Because I hear that it's kind of fun, it's upbeat, it fills you with just kind of, you just want to dance.
Yeah.
But it's catchy as well, and it's easy going. Is that the kind of music you listen to? Or do you listen to very different genres than you make?
No, I think like the main music I listen to is probably singer-songwritery, folky, pop, alternative stuff. But I am a big music lover, so, you know, I'll listen to Aretha Franklin or whatever, or, you know, whatever is there. Like, I do still listen to a lot of classical sometimes as well. And,
nice.
You know, just like anything that is out there. But yeah, I think mostly poppy stuff.
Yeah, and the kind of gigs you go to. So you said you go to see your friends.
Yeah.
But do they do the same kind of music? Are you interested in watching all kinds of live music?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, tomorrow night I'm going to see Eden Hunter. He's going to support me. She does very pop stuff. She's actually releasing a new song tomorrow, which is exciting. What else? Who am I seeing on Friday night? I'm seeing someone called Jess Spanks. She's really cool too. She's doing poppy stuff too. And then Saturday night... I was seeing Saturday night, I forgot. But yeah, I go to a lot of like singer-songwritery pop stuff, like of people that I know at the moment, because that's just what I'm really into. But I went to see Orla Gartland the other day. She's a big inspiration for me. Like, I love her stuff. And my new EP, which I'm working on at the moment, is going to be similar, like I think influenced by her sound as well, which is going to be cool.
And on the new EP, is this with the singles that we've heard today?
So,
or is it going to be completely new stuff?
So the new EP is going to include the 3 singles that are out already, plus 1 new single, which is called Perspective. And then there's also a remix of Crazy on there that my friend Albert made for me. He's very talented, and I'm really excited for it to be out. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, it'll be amazing. And the third song you play for us is Crazy, the studio version. And you made a video for this.
I did.
Well.
I got videos for all the singles, so if you want to check them out, they're really cool.
Oh, amazing. How was it, the music video process? Is it something you really enjoy, something that stresses you out?
I love it. I love it so much. Like, I love the creative idea, kind of planning and stuff, and I've got the most amazing director. Shout out to Holly McKendless-Desmond. She's so talented. And just like working alongside someone who can see me from the outside is great, because I only ever see myself from my perspective, right? So it's quite nice working with someone who's got a vision for what they think the story in the music video should be. And I always love filming it as well. Obviously, sometimes it is a long day, usually like 12-hour day of like filming and standing around and changing outfits and doing this and that. But with the great team I've got around me, it's like really fun. Harry's really talented as well. Harry Blackley, he's my videographer. And him and Holly work together really well, and it's always fun creating with them.
Tell me more about the single, Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, God, I wrote that probably 3 years ago as well, and I wrote it about kind of the first guy I felt like I was in love with. I don't think at the moment, like when I think back, I'm like, no, I wasn't. But it's just about that like exciting feeling of like getting to know someone and kind of knowing that you kind of developing feelings for them just by going on adventures together and stuff like that. And I think it goes on the EP really well, because the EP is called Youth, and it's about just what being young feels like for me, or felt like for me. So, it's exciting, and it's actually my favourite song on the EP, I think.
Yeah, I think it's my favourite that I've heard today. It's very bubbly. It does capture that kind of innocence and fun, like an early relationship. So the EP's called Youth.
It's called Youth.
But there are brackets in there. And I really want to ask you about that. I'm really intrigued by that. Where did that come from?
Yeah, so I think it came from the fact that I wanted to call it Youth, but then I was like, oh, but it's not... firstly, the You is about you being young, and then also the You I wanted to make it about, because the fourth song on the EP is actually called The Perspective. It's actually kind of a love song too. So I was like, oh, it's about you, and youth. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So maybe I should just call it that. It's quite a random decision.
Like 3 titles in one. What
Exactly.
more did you want? And you talk a lot about youth, a lot about being young and struggles, and it sounds like you're an advocate, a passionate person about everything, which is amazing. What can we look forward to in the near future? So you've got this headline gig, you've got this EP coming out.
Exactly.
Are you looking to gig a lot more before the end of the year?
Not really. So obviously headline show 11th of November, 12th of November is when the single's out. So basically at midnight when we got the gig, which is exciting. I'm looking forward to that. And then for me, I think I'm going to go in a bit of a hibernation and just take myself away, finish the next EP, which I'm working on at the moment. All the songs are done for that. So we're just kind of finishing the tracks off to release early next year. And I'm going to see if there's more gigs, but probably not. I feel like I've done a lot this year and I just need to slow down for a while now. I feel like I'm very burnt out. Yeah. I think the industry is just, stressful. Exactly.
I think you deserve a break. It sounds like you're constantly going at it, which is amazing. But where can our listeners find you if they want to listen to music or find your Instagram? Where's the best place to look?
I think Instagram I'm the most active on. My Instagram handle is at Lea_G_music. Lea is spelled without the H. So some people would say Lee, which always is funny. On Spotify you can find me by just typing in Lea G too. YouTube's the same. If you want to see my music videos, just type in Lea G, you'll find them and they'll be at the top. What else? I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. You can find me by just typing in Lea G everywhere, basically. TikTok, too, if you're into that kind of stuff.
Amazing. And if you're around on the 11th of November in Notting Hill,
exactly,
it's going to be a good night. So get down and see that. But for now, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us and for playing your new singles. Really nice to talk to you.
Yeah, lovely to talk to you too. Thank you so much.
Look at us, our life is just so boring right now. And boy, look at me, I just wanna escape somehow. Let's leave this for a while, you know you wanted to, and I just wanna see you smile. Come on with me, won't you? Let's leave this for a while, you know you wanted to, and I just wanna see you smile. Come on with me, won't you? Yeah. I wanna be crazy. I wanna be crazy with you. Hey, hey. I wanna be crazy. I wanna be crazy with you. Hey, follow me. We'll ride a shopping cart down the hill. And boy, follow me. We'll just do it all for the thrill. Let's leave this for a while. You know you wanted to, and I just wanna see you smile. Come on with me, won't you? Let's leave this for a while. You know you wanted to, and I just wanna see you smile. Come on with me, won't you? Yeah. I wanna be crazy. I wanna be crazy with you. Hey, hey. I wanna be crazy. I wanna be crazy with you. And it don't matter where we go, I just wanna be you.